Hello friends, this is Dan Carlton, founder of the Paragraph Project and Planner U. Today I want to share something a little bit different with you. It's not technically a framework, it's more like a technique. I'm calling this video How to Sound as Smart as Simon Sinek. So if you've ever followed Simon Sinek on LinkedIn, and I'm sure he has a Facebook presence as well, but you'll notice that he's pretty well followed and he has a lot of interesting posts that he puts up there. He gets tons and tons of likes. And I want to show you how he's able to take something that seems pretty kind of simple and perhaps even obvious, and then he kind of reframes things in a way that makes them sound super insightful. So it's a kind of a technique that anyone can use. I just want to kind of deconstruct it a little bit and show you what I mean. So let me show you my screen here. So I just pulled his stream from LinkedIn just to give you a sense of what I'm talking about here. If you don't know Simon Sinek, he wrote the book The Power of Why, I believe is the name of it, with the golden circle, and talking about how brands need to communicate their why, and that's how you pull people in. So I'm sure you've all kind of come across that at some point. But anyway, he writes a lot of posts about leadership. So I'm going to show you how he takes some kind of seemingly obvious kind of insights or observations about leadership and twists them into something new and unique that makes you say, oh, I never thought about it that way. So he has obviously a great knack of doing that sort of thing. But you'll see some of these posts here. A weak leader likes to tell us how many people work for them. A great leader is humble to tell us how many people they work for. The responsibility of leadership is not to come up with all ideas. The responsibility of leadership is to create an environment in which great ideas can thrive. So you can see that there's a kind of a lyrical sort of nature to how he writes things. A team is not a group of people who work together. A team is a group of people who trust each other. So on and on and on. This is kind of how he does things. So I want to show you what he is essentially doing. I don't know if he does this deliberately or if this is just kind of his innate style, but let me show you a couple little techniques that he uses. So first, we'll look at this post here. So customers will only love a company when the employees love it first. So what he essentially did here is he found a piece of conventional wisdom, and then he kind of swapped in different words, or he stretched things to make it have new meaning and sound more insightful. And it is insightful. I don't mean to say that these are not insightful things. It's just he has a very specific approach when he does this. So if you break this down, the conventional wisdom is something very kind of obvious about the business or culture or what have you. So the conventional wisdom on this post may have been something like customers need to love a company, right? So we all agree that we understand that that's kind of the nature of business. Customers need to love a company. The new insight was essentially swapping out the beginning of that phrase. So rather than customers need to love a company, the new insightful statement is employees need to love a company. And once he made that switch, he switched the beginning of that statement or that observation. And then all of a sudden he has kind of a new insightful thing here that employees need to love a company in order for it to be successful. And there you go. He has this nice kind of meme-worthy post here. Customers will only love a company when the employees love it first. So that's the first strategy, is taking a piece of conventional wisdom, looking at the beginning of that sentence or that statement and swapping it out for something else that gives it new meaning and new insight. Here's another one. So this is a little bit different, but kind of similar approach. So you see in the post here, leadership is an education, and the best leaders think of themselves as the students, not the teachers. So again, he looks at the conventional wisdom about leadership, and he might have phrased that conventional wisdom as good leaders are teachers. And in this case, he doesn't change the beginning of that statement, he changes the end. So rather than good leaders are teachers, he may have come up with this statement of good leaders are students. And that little twist there makes this kind of a new kind of observation, new take on things that shows you his unique viewpoint on the world. So the quote here, leadership is an education, and the best leaders think of themselves as the students, not the teachers. So you see here there's a distinction that he's making, something that's a little bit more insightful than just the obvious. You expect leaders to be teachers. You might not expect them to be students. And then one final one that I'll share with you. I already read this one here. So this one, a team is not a group of people who work together. A team is a group of people who trust each other. So the interesting thing about this is that he changes the middle of that sentiment, right? So he might have a conventional wisdom kind of summation of, a team is a group that works together. No one's going to disagree with that. That's pretty much the definition of a team, right? So a team is a group that works together. In this case, he may have swapped out that word works with the word trust. So a team is a group that trusts each other. And that leads them to this statement, obviously, up here. A team is not a group of people who work together. A team is a group of people who trust each other. And then it links out to an article, so it's just him kind of repackaging content or research that's already out there and putting his own kind of stamp of approval on it and saying it in a novel way that gets thousands and thousands of likes. So I'm not sure what Simon Sinek's approach is when he puts together his social posts. I'm sure he has a team of people helping him out with it. But essentially what it looks like is that he has people pulling out research, getting new information about different topics around leadership. And the way he presents that information is he states the conventional wisdom, and then he finds some way to kind of flip that just by manipulating a single word. It can give it a whole different meaning and get people to understand his unique POV. So if he can do it, the reality is any of us can do it. So this is just a great invitation for us to, again, look at conventional wisdom when it comes to our customers, our brands, the category, culture. Write those out in simple, 10-word or less sort of statements of truth. Again, just conventional wisdom. It doesn't have to be super insightful, but you start to play around with the beginning of that statement, the end of that statement, the middle of the statement. What are some words, adjectives, descriptors that you can swap in and out, verbs that just give everything kind of new meaning and just provides something interesting in a very fresh way. I have a post that kind of explains this in more detail and actually gives a couple other strategies that it looks like Simon's using as he crafts these sorts of social posts. I'll link to that below just so you have more detail and you can get some more specifics on how to kind of break this down and apply this to your own work. The important thing to remember here is that when you are putting together insight statements in a report or a presentation, it's always helpful to have that conventional wisdom as context and try to flip it so that what you're presenting is based in truth, but then all of a sudden it kind of shifts and makes people think about things in a new way. So I just wanted to bring this up as an example. I think Simon Sinek does obviously a killer job in terms of taking those little pieces of conventional wisdom, stretching them into something new and insightful. And if we just kind of follow his model, we can do the same thing for our work as well. So thanks for tuning in. Again, I'll have some links below with more information if you want to go deeper. Otherwise, make sure you stay tuned for more videos like this. If you aren't on our list yet, go to planneru.com and sign up, and you will be getting these videos in your inbox before anyone else sees them. So thanks a lot.